The security SUV rolled to a stop so abruptly that gravel sprayed across the driveway. Marcus Bell had just finished unloading groceries from his trunk when a loudspeaker crackled behind him. "Sir, step away from the vehicle. Hands where I can see them." Marcus froze. Slowly he turned around. The sun was still high in the sky. Neighbors mowing lawns, kids riding bikes, the illusion of a peaceful suburb humming in the background. But standing halfway out of the black and gold HOA patrol SUV was a white man in his late 40s, thick mustache, mirrored sunglasses, and one hand hovering dangerously close to his holstered firearm. "I live here," Marcus said calmly, lifting one hand. "What's the problem?" The man didn't answer. Instead, he adjusted his stance and spoke louder, sharper. "I asked you to step away from the vehicle. This neighborhood has had break-ins." Marcus glanced around. His car was parked in his driveway. His name was engraved on the mailbox just feet away. A few doors down, a woman paused mid-walk with her dog. Across the street, a curtain twitched. The officer squinted at Marcus, eyes scanning him like a suspect, not a homeowner. "Which house is yours?" he demanded. Marcus felt the familiar knot tighten in his chest, the one that always appeared when logic stopped mattering. "This one," Marcus replied, gesturing behind him. The security officer laughed, short, dismissive. "Yeah, okay, we've had people claim that before." That was the moment Marcus realized this wasn't about security, it was about him. If you've ever been stopped, questioned, or assumed suspicious in a place you belong, hit like and comment where you're watching from. You're not alone. The officer stepped fully out of the vehicle now, boots crunching on gravel. "Last warning, step back or this escalates." Marcus slowly raised both hands. "You're pointing a weapon at me in broad daylight, in front of witnesses." That only seemed to irritate the man more. "I don't care who's watching," the officer snapped. "HOA rules authorize me to detain trespassers." "Trespassers?" Marcus repeated quietly. Two more neighbors had stopped now. A man watering his lawn turned off the hose. A teenager across the street lifted his phone, recording. The officer noticed the phone and barked, "Put that away." The teen didn't. Marcus took a slow breath. His heart was pounding, but his voice remained steady. "Sir," Marcus said, "I suggest you lower your tone." That did it. The officer's hand snapped to his gun. "Don't tell me what to do. You people always think you can talk your way out of—" He stopped himself, but the damage was done. The crowd heard it. A murmur rippled through the street. Marcus locked eyes with him. "Finish that sentence," he said softly. The officer's jaw clenched. "You're being detained." "For what?" Marcus asked. The officer didn't answer. Instead, he reached for his radio. "Dispatch, I have a non-compliant male refusing to identify himself." Marcus almost laughed. Slowly, deliberately, he spoke. "My name is Marcus Bell." The officer rolled his eyes. "I didn't ask for—" "And I am the registered homeowner, property ID 1147. The officer hesitated, just for half a second. Marcus pressed on. "And before you do anything you can't undo, you might want to check who actually owns this development." The officer scoffed, but his confidence cracked. He glanced at the mailbox again, at the house, at the growing crowd. He lowered his voice. "This doesn't change anything." Marcus smiled, not amused, but certain. "Oh," he said calmly, "it changes everything." And that's when the officer's radio crackled back. "Unit 3, dispatch said hesitantly, confirming that address is listed under Bell Holdings." The officer frowned. "What's Bell Holdings?" he asked. Marcus didn't answer. He just stood there, waiting, because the truth hadn't even fully landed yet. And when it did, this entire neighborhood was about to witness a humiliation no HOA handbook could cover. The HOA officer's confidence drained almost instantly. Bell Holdings? He repeated, slower this time. The radio crackled again. Yes, Unit 3, Bell Holdings owns 12 properties within the development, including the land the HOA clubhouse sits on. Silence. The officer's jaw tightened as if his teeth were suddenly too close together. He glanced around the street, at the phones raised, the neighbors whispering, the woman openly shaking her head. Marcus lowered his hands. The officer noticed too late. "Hey," he snapped, "I didn't say you could move." Marcus didn't flinch. "You also didn't say I was under arrest," he replied calmly, "and you have no legal authority to detain me." The officer took a step back, uncertainty creeping into his posture. "You're some kind of investor?" Marcus smiled slightly. "I'm the developer." That word landed like a brick. "The what?" the officer blurted. Before Marcus could respond, another vehicle pulled onto the street, a silver sedan with the HOA logo on the door. It parked hastily, and out stepped a woman in her late 30s, sharp bob haircut, bright pink blazer over a white blouse, her heels clicking angrily against the pavement. Karen Whitmore, HOA board president. "What is going on here?" she demanded, hands already on her hips. The officer straightened instantly. "Ma'am, this individual was acting suspicious." Karen cut him off with a sharp wave. "Sir," she said to Marcus without looking at him properly, "this is a private community. If you don't live here, you need to leave immediately." Marcus turned toward her. "I live here," he said, "and I own more of it than you think." Karen laughed, loud, performative. "Oh, please," she scoffed. "I know every homeowner here, and you are not—" She stopped mid-sentence when she noticed the neighbors, the phones, the tension. The officer leaned in and whispered urgently, "Ma'am, dispatch says he owns—" Karen spun on him. "Owns what?" "He owns the land. Multiple lots, including—" Karen waved him off again. "That's impossible." Marcus stepped forward, his voice calm but carrying. "Karen Whitmore, you signed a lease agreement with Bell Holdings 3 years ago, page 6, section B." Her face drained of color. A murmur rolled through the crowd. That's just a corporate name," she stammered. "That doesn't mean—" "It means," Marcus interrupted gently, "that the HOA operates at my discretion." Karen laughed again, but this time it sounded hollow. "You expect us to believe you control this community?" Marcus reached into his pocket slowly. The officer tensed again, then froze when Marcus produced not a weapon, but a phone. He tapped the screen and turned it outward. An email, subject line, HOA annual lease renewal pending approval. Signed, Marcus Bell, managing director. Karen stared. Her mouth opened, then closed. You're lying," she whispered. Marcus met her gaze. "You just authorized an armed confrontation against the property owner, in front of witnesses." The officer swallowed hard. "Ma'am, what do we do?" Karen spun on him. "Why did you pull a gun?" "You told us to be aggressive with outsiders," he shot back. "You said—" "Stop talking," she snapped. Too late. Every phone caught it. A man in the crowd spoke up. "So this happens a lot?" Karen turned red. "This is none of your business." Marcus raised a hand slightly. "Actually, it is," he said. He turned back to the officer. "I want your name." The officer hesitated. I was just following protocol." "And I want a copy of your incident report, unedited." The officer nodded stiffly. Karen stepped forward, lowering her voice. "Mr. Bell, perhaps we can discuss this privately." Marcus shook his head. "No," he said. "This happened publicly." He turned to the crowd. "I built this neighborhood to be safe, inclusive, and respectful." He looked directly at Karen. "And somewhere along the way, it stopped being that." Police sirens sounded faintly in the distance. Someone had called them. Karen's eyes widened. "You called the police?" Marcus shrugged. "I thought you liked authority." When the patrol car arrived, the scene shifted completely. The real officer listened, asked questions, reviewed footage. He turned to Marcus. "Sir, do you wish to press charges?" Karen gasped. Charges? Marcus paused, long enough for the entire street to hold its breath. Not today, he said, but this HOA is under review, effective immediately. Karen stumbled back. You can't do that. Marcus smiled calmly. I can, and I just did. The officer removed his HOA badge. The crowd erupted in whispers. And Karen? She stood there in her pink blazer, surrounded by witnesses, realizing power only works until the wrong person finally stands up to it.